Here we go. Welcome back to the Fired Up Network and NBA Jump Ball with the long-range bomber Tracy Murray and the broadcasting legend Storm and Norm Rumack. Well, we're done the play-in tournament. Now we're down to the nitty-gritty, Norm. And Norm, I promised you at the end of last show, you had a great question. It better be a very good. Tracy will rate it. If it's not good, I will put you on the wrestling show where me and Tracy will do it. If it's good, maybe you come on for 10 seconds. But go ahead, Norm.
All right. Here's a good question that even Joe, if it was a stock on the stock exchange, Joe would buy it. That's how good the question's going to be.
I don't buy anything.
So with that in mind, Tracy, New Yorkers fell in love again with the Knicks last spring with their playoff run, led by Jalen Brunson. They seem to be the sort of team, if you want to play gritty and hard, they can bring back, I don't know if I'm overstretching it by saying a little bit of that Charles Oakley mentality. They can play tough, but they can play highly skilled. And we talked about some of the other exciting guards in the NBA. Give me your read, your scouting report on Brunson. And because we saw when he was out, the Knicks struggled with some of the teams that were above them in the standings. So he's really important. And give me your scouting report on Brunson and the Knicks in general when they're healthy.
Well, no Brunson, no win. Put it that way, because he dominates the ball. He makes all of the plays. He makes the guys have easier shots, and defensively, he's pressuring the guards. Offensively, he's always putting pressure on the defense. No Brunson, no Knicks. So that's why they struggled against other teams without him, because when the person that dominates the ball disappears for a while, now everybody's stuck like, all right, what do we do next? So with him being healthy, the Knicks are they're gonna be pretty good. I just don't know if they can get past Boston.
All right. So let's talk about Norm. Any more questions? You're going to interrupt me again or no?
No, I'm a nice guy, Joe. I wouldn't do that.
All right. Let's get into the playoffs starting Saturday, 1 p.m. Good matchup. Milwaukee, Indiana. Trace, who you got in this series?
This is a good matchup, and I think Milwaukee's been playing decent, but I don't know if they have the team this year to move forward. Indiana's been ambitious. They've been like knocking on that door of jumping to the next level. This one might go the whole distance, when it comes to games. It might go all 7. So I'm going to – who has the home court advantage?
Indiana.
I'm going to give it to Indiana. I'm going to give the edge to Indiana.
Correct. Norm, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm going to go along. Who might argue with Tracy Murray?
You did argue with it. Never mind. Go ahead.
But Trace, maybe you can extrapolate a little bit on their 1-2 punch with Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton when they're both healthy.
Yeah. I mean, when they're both healthy, who's stopping them? I mean, Halliburton is a perfect lead guard. I mean, he puts himself second, right? He makes everybody better around him. They have bigs. They have wing players. They can play defense. Siakam can go get 20, 30 anytime you want to get it, So they're a really good young team, and they're deep, with talent. So I think that they're going to edge, and how dominant Giannis is. So, he's going to get his fair share of wins and calls and plays, but I just don't think he has the team to get over the hump. And Dame Lillard's out, right? So he ain't going to be with them. So I can't see them beating Indiana.
All right, so that's the first game on Saturday, but I got to say, this is the game or the series of the first round at least. Number 5, LA Clippers. Number 4, Denver Nuggets. 3:30 game 1 on Saturday. Let's start off with Norm. Extrapolate on that.
No, you're using my big words. I mean, you could at least tell me.
Right.
This is what he learned from Syracuse University. who, by the way, is an orange. Norm likes blue and white, Maple Leafs, blue and white, Blue Jays, blue and white, Argos, and he likes the orange, and Chelsea's blue. Now you know what the orange is good for? An orange a day doesn't keep the doctor away, but it sure makes you, like Tracy, lean, mean, scoring machine.
Yeah, Joe, I got so distracted by your extrapolation.
I know, by my oranges. Go ahead, Norm. Pick the game already.
All right. I'll go with Denver just for the heck of it. How's that?
That's all you're going to say? All right, go ahead.
That's all.
Help me out, Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy is the analyst here. I defer to him.
I think the Clippers. I'm going with the Clippers because they've been playing better basketball down the stretch. Denver's coach got fired. There's a lot of turmoil upstairs and within the team. I don't see this team pulling together and making a run. I see them getting beaten and handling their business during the offseason. That's what I see. They have the pieces that are there to win, but I don't know if they can stay locked in because there's too much stuff going on. So the Clippers have really been playing well. Norman Powell's been back playing well. Kawhi's been back playing well. Harden's been solid. They have bigs. They can play defense. I just can't. The Clippers been playing some of their best basketball all season down the stretch.
I'm going to tell you, whoever wins this series, you have to beat Jokic. If they can stop Jokic from scoring 30 points, 20 rounds, and 10 assists a game, they will win. And I'm going to tell you now, Kawhi Leonard, I watched him for the last couple of games. He looks like old Kawhi.
Yes.
Like 2019 Kawhi. Norm, do you remember year 2019?
Yeah, I certainly do. That much. My memory still goes that far back.
6 years younger. 6 years. Anyways, but I think you're right, Trace. I think the clip, and we got to give it to Ty Lue also. Ty Lue didn't have so much gray hair. Now I see him; he's like gray hair like crazy. Anyways, but the Clippers should win that one. Let's go to 2 more games that we know about because the play-in. Detroit, number 6, versus Norm's New York Knicks. New York is close to Syracuse, Norm. Did you know that?
I somehow recall that from my grade 8 geography, yes.
Isn't Syracuse New York? Anyways, go ahead.
All right. That's a bit of a tough one, because I think the Pistons can give anybody a hard time. I don't know. I think that one's almost like a pick 'em. I'd be interested to see if Tracy agrees. When I say a pick 'em, I'll give the Knicks a slight edge, but I think as a series that one should go the distance. Do you agree, Tracy?
I agree. It should go the distance. I think I'm giving the edge to the Knicks because they have a little bit of experience of being in the playoffs, but both of them have, they have players. They can, you have on the Knicks, you have OG who has experience, you have Towns who has experience, you have Brunson who has experience. It's like you have guys with experience on that Knicks team that could, propel them to win this series. But that young, ambitious Detroit Pistons team, they're going to play hard. They're going to do their best. They're going to fight to the end, and they're fighting together. They have this mentality that they're at war, and that's always scary for the other team.
And Detroit, let's give it to Detroit. The Lions see a resurgence, and the Red Wings are there, the Tigers, and now who would have thought the Pistons finishing 6th in the playoffs after 10, 15 years of going 16-66, put it that way, all right? So now, Trace, I'm going to ask you this. Forget about the second round or whatever. Right now, this is the NBA playoff preview, NBA jump ball here on the Fired Up Network with yourself and the broadcasting legend, Norm Rumack. Who's going to be in the NBA Finals, Trace?
That's it's interesting. I honestly can only pick one team, and that's Boston from the East. The West
But
is
you think they
wide
beat
open.
Cleveland?
I think they beat Cleveland, experience-wise. I think they beat Cleveland. I just in the West, it's just there's too much going on, man. The Golden State Warriors have injected themselves into the equation. The Clippers is playing their best basketball.
I could talk about Lakers in Minnesota. Norm got me extrapolated out of my mind.
Well, the Lakers always got something to say as long as you got Luka and LeBron. I think defense is going to kill them at the end. Even I have Denver losing to the Clippers, but they even have something to say. So it's wide open in the West.
Yeah, Norm, what do you say?
OKC, I didn't even mention OKC. OKC's playing great basketball, but so I don't know if their lack of experience is going to hurt them or not.
Do you pick OKC and Boston?
I want OKC and Boston. I just think that why have such a great season and not get to the finals?
And you know what, Trace and Norm, you know this. Don't you have to lose to win? OKC, like they had a great year last year too. So you have to lose to win. What do you say, Norm?
Well, certainly that experience makes you tougher. We were talking about the Knicks that way. They had a tough series with the Boston Celtics, and I'm sure that was a big building block for them. We'll see, how that works out this year in terms of the Knicks and their playoff endeavors. But I would choose the Lakers. I would like to see, just as you guys were talking about, I would like to see Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, go on to not only win the MVP, but to have OKC win the whole thing. Be great for Canada, I think, to have a Canadian as an MVP and maybe as a playoff MVP. But if you're going head to head with the Boston Celtics, that's a mighty, mighty task. We know how good they are when they're on their game, and usually they are in the postseason. So, but it'd be a fun series to watch if it works out. I mean, I hope it's Boston and OKC. That would be entertaining as all heck. So hopefully it works out that way from my perspective.
I think there's levels to it, and I think OKC has been playing at such a high level that I don't know if they can go to another level. It's just like Joe said, you got to lose to win. Kind of play it down here a little bit. And then as you get towards the end of the season, start raising your level. They've been playing up here the whole time. There's only one place to go, and that's down. So I just hope that they have enough left to run through the tape at the finish line.
That soliloquy by Norm was brought to you by Captain Canada, Drew Eden. All right, now. All right. So, by the way, some news just occurred this past couple of days. Mike Budenholzer is out as the coach. I don't know if you heard, Trace. He's out.
I heard this morning.
Yeah, and the other thing we gotta close it out with Norm's favorite team, the Toronto Raptors, 30th year anniversary. You're a long time Raptor. They still love you. You're one of their first picks overall. What did you think? 30-52 this year, and at the press conference where they did the lockout cleanout. Oh, next year we're making the Scotty Barnes. Next year we're making playoffs. This team is so good. We're making the playoffs. Isn't the goal that Scotty Barnes is talking to Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews from the Toronto Maple Leafs all the time, where we just want to make the playoffs and that's it. Isn't the goal to win? I'm not saying they're going to win the championship, but go and actually say for once, my goal is to win the championship. My goal is to score 30 points a game. My goal is to be the franchise of the Raptors and make $600 million topping Carlos Delgado. How about that? Or not Delgado, what's his name? Guerrero. But go ahead. See, working with Norm gets me flustered all the time. He's there. He's looking around. He's like, I could be in his head. Oh, that sub and that pizza is so good, especially in Passover. All right, so there you go. But Trace, let's talk about the Raptors. What were your thoughts about the Raptors?
They're a good young team, and they need to gain experience. And I think Scotty Barnes has to have another level that he's got to go to. He's got to know how, and then the rest of the kids that got some experience this year, Like, keep building. Go home. Be pissed off. Like, go to work. Take a week off or 2 weeks off. Go to work. Don't go on, vacation for the summer. Like, it's time to get to work. If you're sitting at home watching the playoffs, it should piss you off because you want to be involved in the postseason. This is when all of you max players or people who want to be max players or people who want to make $100 million, this is when you perform. You perform during the postseason. And this is, you want to have that experience. You want the city to be lit. That's when it's lit, during postseason. You think it's cool during the season. During postseason is out of control. You want the energy in the city, you want the energy in the building, and you want to reach another level. And these guys got to work towards that this summer.
All right, Norm, what did Trace said?
Yeah.
He's got to play Rihanna's song, work, 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 work. That's what they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Darko had to play that song instead of pouting the rock. Play that song and invite me to the party when Rihanna comes. Go ahead, Norm.
Yeah, I'm sure, Joe, without a doubt, that Rihanna would have you first on the list for her party, Joe. I have no doubt about that.
And Norm, if you be a good boy, I'll put you. Now that you're a security guard, maybe you could be the security guard for me and Rihanna because we work.
Yeah, well, for Rihanna, I would work for free. That's for sure.
Yeah, you don't work for me for free. Never mind. Go ahead, your last
I've been working for free for you for 2 decades.
Late night vampire fangs are coming out right now.
His fangs. At least he's eating something. All right, Norm. I'll ask since I asked Tracy. So Trace says he said Oklahoma and Boston. So who? Give me your finals pick.
Yeah, I mentioned that. No, I did mention that. I'm hoping it will be Oklahoma City and Boston. I don't know if it will be, but I'm hoping. I'm going to sneak in a bonus question, if I may, for Tracy. I didn't get to ask you about one of the guards with Cleveland. He's just one of them, but obviously they've had such a pleasantly surprising season. Give me your scouting report on Darius Garland, Trace.
Well, Darius Garland is one of those young players that can do a lot. It's first time, being on that next level when you talk about all-star and stuff like that. Now, you've reached that level now. Now you need to, in the playoffs, now let's see who you really are. The playoffs, pressure's high, a little bit more contact, less calls. Let's see what next level you have to you. I mean, he's the son of a pro, so I expect a lot from him. Winston was a solid pro. So Darius being the next level, the second one to be in the league, I expect him to have, some good series, because his success, the Cavs depend on a lot of his success. It can't be just Donovan Mitchell. It's got to be him as well. It's got to be the bigs in the middle controlling the paint and getting some buckets when they need them, lobs and stuff like that. They have a nice young team. If they can stay together for a while, you'll see them make more noise moving forward.
All right.
Okay.
Norm, any last questions there?
Any last questions?
Come on, man.
Trace, we were talking last time about how the Raptors and how, once they won the title in 19, so guys could go their own way, take advantage of the big contracts they would get. And as you mentioned, it was a good insight for Joe and I and everybody watching about the tax situation. That's what really hurt the Raptors with keeping their star players, was the extra tax they pay living in Ontario, Canada, when they're playing for the Raptors. Golden State, obviously, the tax issue didn't apply to them, but they still managed to keep even after winning a few titles, they still managed to keep their core together. How much has that got to do with the leadership of whether it's Steph or anybody else on the team? They didn't keep everybody, but the core is still together. How much has that got to do with the leadership of Steve Kerr? In other words, would you take a bit of a discount to play for an organization like Golden State and for a coach like Steve Kerr?
Well, just to tackle the tax part of it, California's got high taxes too. So I think the situation with Golden State is you do have a coach that people may like playing for with Kerr. You have a style of play that, you know, is pretty wide open for scoring if you can score the basketball that people would like to play in. If you can take being held accountable, you know, because Draymond's going to hold you accountable, you know, if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You have veterans like Looney and Peyton, and you have a star in Steph Curry. You know, who wouldn't want to play with Steph for some of the stuff that he's doing, you know? And that they always manage to find themselves in the equation because of the nucleus, like you said. People want to stay around. People have established themselves over the years. I mean, hell, Clay was even mad that he had to leave. So it's like when Vince was in Toronto, for example, you saw guys stick around a little bit longer. Curry stuck around, Oakley stuck around, Antonio Davis stuck around, Alvin Williams stuck around. There was a lot of people that was around for a long period of time with Vince. Can Scotty Barnes be that person to where everybody wants to play with him? That's got to be the next level stuff. You know, you got to have a franchise guy that everybody wants to play with that can get on the phone, recruit some people to come up there and play with him. And that person also has to sacrifice a little bit in salary so his guys, you know, can fit in. So it's a lot of stuff that happens, you know, especially in a place like Toronto where there's high taxes and stuff. You have to have a franchise that's a magnet.
I have a question, one last question for Norm. Trace, you mentioned Garland has to play well because he's the son of a pro and all that, right? But does Norm know who's the son of a plumber? Now, Tracy is going to be talking about wrestling, but do you know, Norm, who's the son of a plumber?
Well, I don't know. How about
wait, I'll give you a hint. He's the Universal Heavyweight Champion. His dad wore polka dots.
Wait, Tracy, is that true? Is that true?
He only laughs at his jokes. We're not talking about Kurt Angle, eh? Come on. All right.
Wait. Let me give a quick call. Joe, let me give a quick call to Trish Stratus. I'll ask her if she knows.
She'll know. Trace, we'll talk about wrestling coming up. And I'll even, Norm, you did such a lousy job here on the NBA preview that I'm going to put you on for the first couple minutes with me, Tracy. And Tracy, I've just been notified that we may have a special guest, right? And you want the hint of the special guest, Trace?
Yeah.
Somebody better call your mama. Thanks a lot, Norm and Trace. And this is your NBA playoff preview. Thanks. You're watching Fired Up Network. Thanks a lot, guys.
Okay, thank you.